Hello everyone, Dragon Gaming here, Fun Gaming here. Today, Game Theorists have uploaded a Bendy Tragic Ending Explained Bendy Machine Chapter 5 video, aka another Bendy Theory video. Now, if you've been on the channel and you've seen my stances, like the last video I had where it was Bendy fooled us, and I broke that down. I basically told him what to avoid. You can tell my stance on all these, and you can tell I don't really have much hope on this. Please don't make me regret this, Matt. I'm giving you a little bit of hope, but I don't have high hopes for this. Right? I'm giving you like a tiny bit of faith, but yeah. So if you disappoint me, you disappoint me. Let's watch this. You can see I'm not really... my tone is really giving it away. I'm not giving too much high hope. I got notification for this. I'm
chalk up another victory on the game.
Wow. Whoa. So, Bendy's ending, Purple Guy Mystery, Mario 3 is a play, Isaac is reborn. Let's see this and make me eat my words, Matt.
Chalk up another victory on the game theory win sheet. Was the release of Bendy's last chapter. All my theories were... Chalk up another victory on the game theory win sheet. Was the release of Bendy's last chapter. All my theories were...
I'll come back to this. I'm not giving too much hope on this, and if you... So, let's... Alright, let's read this description. This description may get you in the same mood I've been in, or it may actually give you hope on this. Special thanks for Honey for partnering with us for this episode. Get Honey free using that link. Save money this holiday season on Amazon, eBay, GameStop, Newegg, Walmart, Best Buy, and more. Subscribe and never miss a theory. This part I'm hoping for. Bendy Machine has come to an end and it left us reviewing more questions. What does it all mean? What happened to Joey Drew? Today, theorists, we reveal the sad truth in the final chapter of Bendy. Hopefully, you've done your research. Hopefully, you don't use invalid evidence. If I can go in this theory and I can point out 3 or 4 things of invalid evidence, then I may just unsubscribe. Because if you keep picking invalid evidence to support your theory or your claim, I had. And after that, it's like, need royalty-free music for your content? Try Epic Demo Sound. You have day free trial, subscribe for every theory, hang out with us on GT Live. Using that link there, do a bunch of hashtags, and then more theories. Game theory, culture shock, and the science. Do me a favor and surprise me. Let's look in here. How Bendy will end. Bendy's final secret. Spider-Man is a criminal. Superhot.exe is a virus. Okay, I think this is a recent. I think that's his recent patch out video actually. This is GT Live. So before I go ahead and before I go and kind of like brood on all this, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna tell you my hopes for it. They're not real high. I'm just hoping it's a theory that he's done his research on it. He's played through all the chapters. He's played through everything, and hopefully he can wipe my socks off and impress me. But not only am I really hard to impress on a daily basis, but I've got this going, so yeah. I saw this and I'm half excited and I'm like, I'm not having too much faith in you.
Victory on the game theory win sheet. With the release of Bendy's last chapter, all my theories were put to the test, and it looks like we were overall pretty darn right.
Overall, pretty darn right. As I stated with your Bendy, he fooled us, but you've had a very invalid evidence. And what I'll have to do is I'll have to definitely look at this. I may have end up doing a live stream or something where we watch Bendy being played, or I get my butt in the gear and try playing it on the channel so you all can have the same that I have. Really, personally for me, I think the only one your only theory that's actually been good on Bendy is just the Disney one. That's, as I mentioned before, your typical game theory style worked there, and it doesn't work on these other ones. So you can already tell I don't really have too much faith in this, but yeah, overall you weren't really right. Meatly's kind of debunked every single theory that you've had, so, and even other fans will explain that to you. The Meatly basically debunked all your theories. So saying that they're right when they've literally been debunked every single time is questionable. Plus, your theory about Wally being Bendy is definitely wrong, assuming the fact of one of the audio logs, and he'll probably mention it, and I'll point it out.
For the things the Meatly wasn't purposely misdirecting us on, Allison and Thomas were indeed revealed to be perfect Allison cyborgs. Human souls are indeed used to power the ink machine, and most importantly of all, we totally called that Joey Drew would be revealed to be the true identity of Monster Bendy. Wait.
Not entirely. Just because a boss fight starts with you hitting an audio tape and randomly hearing Joey's voice before Bendy shows up doesn't necessarily state he's Joey Drew's Bendy. And this is why I stated that, the audio log's gonna debunk you. So, and it kind of debunked a lot of our fan theories as well, so you're not the only one at fault here, but I'll keep my mouth shut until there's actually a good point of contrast here.
You're saying he wasn't? That he's just this old dude in his kitchen and Bendy is this mindless ink monster? Give me a few minutes. It'll all make sense soon, because this is the end of Bendy and the Ink Machine.
As I mentioned, your intros are better.
Hello, Internet!
Your intros for these series are good, and then your theories are terrible. That is probably the coolest one I've seen so far, intro-wise, but your theory I'm not having for.
Welcome to Game Theory, where you don't need a special lens to see our hidden messages. More often than not, they're hidden in plain sight right in front of your face. So, 5 chapters, 3 theories, and 1 year, 8 months, and 16 days later, it's finally over. The saga of our little devil darling Bendy reached its sepia-tinted conclusion, and, it was controversial, to say the least. Slow stealth sections, Bendy going on full beast mode, and no appearance of the...
By the way, just so you know, Chapter 5 spoilers, because, I figured it might be a while before I get to Chapter 5 myself, so anybody who watches this gets a full mindset of what Chapter 5 is essentially being, so you guys are a little bit more prepared compared to if people don't watch this and watch the live stream.
Plunger were just some of the complaints that I saw circulating online, but it was the ending that left most people in the inky dark. After fighting off Roid Rage Bendy, suddenly we're taken to a kitchen with Joey Drew washing some dishes before sending us back to the studio with the same exact words that kicked this whole thing off in the first place.
Come visit the workshop. There's something I need to show you.
And he just spoiled the ending in the game. A lot of theories have suggested that it's actually part of a time loop, but I'll see where he goes with this.
Alright, Joey. I'm here. Let's see if we can find what you wanted me to see.
Are you kidding me? Every time time this game launches a new chapter, I need to play through the whole thing again since it's so unstable I lose my save data. I'm telling ya, if I haven't found what you wanted me to see the other 5 times that I've gone through these chapters, this ain't it, Chief. Also, did it bother anyone else to hear Joey say, I need to show you?
There's something I need to show you.
But then the closed captions say, want to show you? You're rankling my OCD here, game. Anyway, I don't think it's an understatement to say that this was far from the ending the series had been leading us towards, understandably causing frustration to gamers who'd spent the better part of the last 2 years theorizing about this game's mysteries. So today we're gonna dive down to the inky depths and add some color to a finale that most people found a bit sketchy. Let's begin. First things first, it's important to establish that the events in the game never really happened. At least, not literally, like we played through them. Yep, it's one of those, where everything is symbolic, like a dream theory, coma theory, or in this case, a story theory. You see, the game...
Okay. As I mentioned, I don't have too much hopes, and he's probably going to claim that time loop and stuff has been his, and then that we're going to live in a cartoon reality, and he's going to claim that as his own, when, as I mentioned before, you need to do your research on this sort of stuff.
Game tries to leave it open to interpretation, revealing in the endgame letter that repairman Thomas Connor is a bit miffed that someone stole his invention, the ink machine, only to show us a few seconds later, after the credits, that it's in Joey Drew's house. So could it all have been real? Yeah, it could have, but it's not very likely. That's why the entrance to Joey Drew Studios is attached to the kitchen, and why there's this dramatic visual shift when we're entering the real world. The game designers are trying to tell us through aesthetics that the studio isn't reality. This hallway with the 6 posters is very reminiscent of the opening hall.
Yeah, it is.
And this room
really interesting.
is very reminiscent of chapter 1.
It is.
So this is my desk. Wait, oh.
I wasted so much time in this chair.
Making it even clearer is the fact that in the gameplay,
A lot of people have stated that this is a throwback chapter, because it's, I mean, that's what you really want. If I'm going to end a series, I don't like to end it how closely to how I started it. That's probably what Meatly, Kindly Beast, and everybody, Kindly Beast, Rooster Teeth, and everybody had planned it to be. So, if you're going to bring something up that counteracts that, and it's poorly supported, heck with it.
Pendle is transformed into the perfect Alice Angel, and Thomas Connor is Cyborgs. But in real life, 2 are married and living happily together, with their time at Joey Drew Studios a faint memory in the distant past. There is very obviously a set of real-world events and a separate studio world. But making this distinction perfectly clear to us is this final post-credits moment. A little girl asking for yet another story from Uncle Joey.
Tell me another one, Uncle Joey.
It doesn't get any more direct than that.
I'm really surprised that he hasn't mentioned anything yet about the message. Congratulations on your success. What if this was a movie? We were playing through a movie, and the way the story is actually supposed to end is how the movie actually ends. Driscoll came up with that theory, which actually seems pretty legit.
Another story, i.e. we were just told the story by Uncle Joey. So the 5 chapters of Bendy are just that, a 5-part story. But just because this was a story all along doesn't mean that it's not rooted in fact. Quite the contrary, it's Joey's version of the rise and fall of his studio. The small details in his story are inspired by things in the world around him. For instance, the little miracle safe stations throughout the game were actually just inspired by this TV and radio repair company that we see a flyer for posted on his bulletin board. And if you look really closely in the background during this post-ending bonus scene, on the back shelf there, you'll see a bunch of items that should look pretty darn familiar.
Yeah, and he's pointing that out now when, honestly, that was, you can spot that, like, right when you get into that section, so...
A record, a plushie, a wrench, ink, a book, and a gear. All the items that we had to collect in Chapter 1 of the game to activate the ink machine, except now, their visual style is more realistic. Real items that he's translated into the fictional animated story world that he's created. As for the bigger plot points in the game, well, that's just Joey's life. Joey clearly created a studio with the help of Henry, who, as we guessed, was indeed the creator of Bendy. Once Henry left the business to spend time with his wife, the studio eventually died. In part due to changing entertainment trends, people simply growing out of the old silent black and white cartoons.
when the tickets stopped selling, when the next big thing came along, only the monsters remained.
But also because of a series of bad business decisions by Joey, most notably Bendyland. We know this from all the overdue bills on Joey Drew's bulletin board, as well as blueprints of the failed theme park. It's possible that Joey tried to keep up, evolve the Bendy character, revive him for an older audience, as we see darker, more mature, more gun-happy versions of the characters on the animating table in his house, but clearly nothing has worked, leaving Joey a poor, broken old man. Which leads us to Monster Bendy. Why did I say that Monster Bendy is revealed to be Joey Drew? Well, it's because Bendy in the studio is a symbol of his regrets. Listen to his final dialogue in the kitchen.
I thought I knew who I was, but the success starved me.
Don't be
In
surprised
the
if
end,
you
we
confuse this
followed
theory.
two different roads of our own making. You, a lovely family. Me, a crooked empire.
It doesn't sound a little
My
bit like
road
Johnny Cash.
burned. I let our creations become my life. The truth is, you were always so good at pushing, old friend. Pushing me to do the right thing. You should have pushed a little harder.
It's all a series of regrets. Regret that he didn't start a family, that he let himself become consumed by work, greed, that he lost a friend in Henry. Look at the letters on his bulletin board. Joey is reaching out to employees of the studio decades after they worked together. They've moved on with their lives. They've found love, other jobs, families, but Joey hasn't. He's trapped by the ghosts of his past. All wrapped up in and represented by Bendy. No longer just a cute cartoonish devil, but now a twisted, shambling monster who roams the remains of his failed studio. The sharp-toothed embodiment of his own regrets. That's why Bendy sometimes helps you out throughout the game. Henry and Joey had this complicated relationship. That's also why you have to show Bendy the end to finish him off. To show him, and by proxy Joey, that era of his life is over. It's all a shadow of the past.
Only the monsters remain. Shadows of the past.
In a lot of ways, Joey Drew rightfully sees himself as the villain of his own story, all represented by Monster Bendy. It's incredibly sad. But then, what about Henry re-entering the studio? The mysterious writing on the walls? What does Joey want to show us? Well, from a literal standpoint, the writing that was on the walls was done by Henry. If you replay the game, you're given the ability to use a...
And that's what a lot of people have stated, and it's pretty obvious, because it's really a term that he would use, and it's in places that he would be able to write. But, now, as I mentioned with the time loop thing, he may at one point know that he can't break out of that loop, but he's going to try warning other Henrys of the events that he had did. Which I think our second playthrough is the start of that loop. Now,
lens of truth in all the previous chapters. Each time the cycle repeats, you see on the walls that Henry makes a tally, and that he's able to call out certain events that happen every time he goes through the loop, where he's attacked by Sammy with the word ouch, where jump scares happen with the word peekaboo, etc. But confirming that it's Henry writing these messages are two in particular. His Dream My Effort, which reflects Henry's frustrations of working with and ultimately carrying the business of Joey Drew, as well as this one right next to a Joey Drew audio log. That's the Joey I know. It's admittedly kind of odd that Henry compliments his own...
Okay. So, it's like, you draw beautifully. Okay, thanks. Something I'm gonna mention when I play through it, it's a little bit harder to see when way he has it. It's easier to see it in game. But the way some of that looks, is if he's designing a cart, or he's designing armor, or worse yet, he's designing the Meatly Easter eggs, which that's a can of worms for a whole nother video.
Drawings here in the prison cell, and he might just want to check his grammar on this little bit of graffiti. Dream too big and you'll fail. More like grammar fail. Am I right? Up top. Okay, don't have to high five me. It's okay. But it's definitely Henry leaving these messages. It's also why we have flashes of hallucinations throughout the previous chapters. There are events from...
Okay, so, and here's a big flaw of everybody saying this is Henry. At one point, is Henry able to figure out who's inside what coffins? Chapter 2, there's a bunch of coffins. When you use the seeing tool on them, they say Bertram, Lacey, Grant, Norman, and so much more on this type of stuff. When you check the coffin that randomly floats in Susie Campbell, aka Imperfect Alex's lair, it states Susie. How the frick was he able to figure those out? Does he have supervision? He knows what? That part is just plain creepy to me. The writing on the walls really isn't, but just a point to throw out there.
Past iterations of the loop peeking through, but then why is everything a cycle? What does Joey want Henry to see? Well, it's a story Joey has told himself, and probably those around him dozens of times. He's relived these moments, this twisted history of his failed business countless times. That's the thing about regret. It doesn't go away. It exists in a constant loop of what-ifs and alternate choices. Except, as Henry himself points out, reliving the past does not change it. Joey being a prisoner of his own history is just a spiral of sadness, and no amount of reliving these events is gonna change them. That's why everything in these loops is so predictable. Every single cycle. Like Henry writes, there never was any choice. Making it worse is that, as Joey gets older, those he once worked with start passing away. Going through the game again, we see on the coffins the names of some of the key side characters. Susie Campbell, Grant Cohen, Bertram Piedmont, Lacey Benton, all dead and in their coffins. Sure, in the events of the cartoon studio, they may have been sacrificed to the ink machine, but I suspect what's really going on is that in real life, they're actually dead, passed away from old age or the like, which just makes Joey's situation worse. His past is crumbling away. The only people he ever had any connection with are fading away with time. Joey's alone, and he's dying alone. The only choice available for Joey is to end it, to put a close on Bendy and move on with his life. And it looks like that's finally what he's trying to do, sending out letters to his former employees to reconnect with them, to make sure that they no longer see him as the villain, that they weren't victims of the ink. Not literally like we see in the studio, but figuratively, as he fears his work destroyed and corrupted everyone around him. And they appear to be fine. They've forgiven him, which just leaves one. Henry, his oldest and most important friend, his co-founder, the one who represents everything that Joey's life could have and would have been, the perfect Bendy to Joey's twisted monster of regrets. When he invites Henry to the studio one last time, it's
Perfect Bendy. Wow. See, this is the part I was really referring to earlier when I stated that invalid points and everything. It was kind of revealed in the archives where a random piece was that we never saw in the game. Random bendy face, no smile, no nothing, no horns or anything. Just in the game files and we never saw it. It was as if it was part of the concept of Bendy. Because, I mean, it would make a lot of sense that way. But I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Him bearing his soul to us. The ugliness, the regret. It's Joey asking Henry for forgiveness, yes, but it's also Joey asking Henry for permission to forgive himself. And if that post-credit scene is any indication, the permission is given. The cycle is broken. Henry forgives Joey and brings over his daughter to hear some stories from the old studio. Joey has a family at last.
Alright, so fine dandy and everything, but normally, as eagle-eyed as you normally are with picking out details and stuff, you would have made some random connection to congratulations on your success. This being, the events we played through our movie, Joey telling basically the rise and fall of his studio through this movie that Henry's going through and everything, and he's basically giving personal feedback on it, is this is blockbuster hit that Joey released, and now basically now they've got merchandise, they've got mobile games, they've got all sorts of stuff like that, and then Henry's congratulating him on this success of all this.
Tell me another one, Uncle Joey.
But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. The end. But hey, after an episode all about getting stuck in your regrets, the sponsor for today's episode wants to make sure that you guys don't have any regrets when it comes to buying stuff online. Honey, which is a nifty free browser plugin, automatically finds you every conceivable discount code available every time you buy something on the internet. It works on basically any website that's ever had a discount code ever, like Target, Amazon, Best Buy, and all those other places that you're gonna go to anyway to buy all the stuff that you are already buying and spending more money than you need to on. There is nothing that ruins a new jacket you just bought, new phone, or a new game, which are seriously expensive, than finding out that you could have paid less for it, or gotten yourself some free shipping, gotten the taxes paid for, whatever. I use Honey. I love Honey. It literally just runs in the background and lets me know every time I shop online when it finds discounts. I do nothing. It's like being the laziest coupon clipper ever. For this particular sponsorship, Honey actually went above and beyond. We teamed up with them to donate $500 worth of toys for charities to see how much Honey could save me. For my shopping spree, since this is on a Bendy and the Ink Machine episode, I headed over to Shop Disney, because Disney characters are kind of like Bendy characters, and heck, what kid doesn't want a stocking full of Disney plushies? And stocked up on
anyone that thinks that's the Disney video is now scared to crap about Disney, and anyone who's played Bendy and Ink Machine is now have had their childhood ruined. That too.
Everything from art sets to lightsabers to scooters to the
theory. Like as I mentioned, even though that wasn't really part of the theory, I'm just putting that a big spin on that. I really need to start a series called Theory
of $557 until, of course, I applied the Honey discount. That took off shipping and got me 15% off of everything I purchased, which in turn brought my total down to $468, almost
How do you have that much money?
$100 less than I would have paid without Honey. At that point, I could afford to go back and buy Disney 3D modeling kits and even one of those really expensive Lego Star Wars sets with like the zillion pieces. It was awesome because that money was going directly into buying more toys for needy children, and it was all thanks to the extra savings I got because of Honey. Money that would have just been thrown away without it. Heck, I know we all got a lot of holiday shopping coming up, so if you want to save money too without having to do any extra work, just click the link in the description below or go to joinhoney.com/MatPat and become one of Honey's 10 million members, just like I am. Remember, it is totally free. That's joinhoney.com/MatPat. Happy holidays and happy savings.
Alright. I'm gonna hand you my overall thoughts. A lot of the time I mention stuff, especially up there in the beginnings where I had the most problem. He stated we were overall pretty much correct. That's if I create a bunch of theories like the Born Survived clone theory, which I've recently made a video where I just went through all those old videos. But like, it's like, I make a bunch of theories like that. None of them are really confirmed or denied in any way. They're basically debunked and they're not really confirmed. And I say I'm pretty much right. That's a really terrible statement. You have to do your research, you have to go back to it, you have to look at it deeply. And as mentioned, as eagle-eyed as he is, someone would have pointed out something similar to, congratulations on your success. That's not there on the picture for no reason. Okay? Meatly never really puts anything in a game or a teaser image that could be debunked or isn't just there without any meaning. Unless, of course, he's wearing an ink puddle. Now, yeah, Samuel Lawrence returning. Spoilers. But, like, Samuel Lawrence coming back was, in fact, a shocker for a lot of people. And if you look back at Joju's audio log in Chapter 5, he's one of them anyway. I can't remember which section it is. It's in the maze, obviously, but where this is him stating that, he's stating whatever that grinny thing was, he's still walking around. Tommy and the guys at Gent really need to lock that sucker up tight. Because what the press got aside of that. is really what you need to be paying attention to. That's, as I mentioned, like, Boy Frank started the Little Miracle Company and everything like that. For all we know, he could have been trying to pay college tuition. Who knows? But what he was doing is, like Joey Drew stated, whatever that green thing was, you lock it up, press inside of it, scares away investors of what we're trying to do. And basically, there's hints from those audio logs that no one is Bendy, okay? Wally, we see one more audio log from him. I actually wish there was more, but he probably stole Sammy's cake. And, sorry about that, man. But, like, everything else like that, if you go back to a lot of the previous chapters, there is messages by those, like the hidden messages with the seeing tool. And yet you kind of forgot to mention those out too, which came to my conclusion that Henry did put those suckers there at some random point. So he discovered the secret rooms and he put the Meatly Easter eggs there and wrote like Devilishly Handsome or something like that. So you kind of have to consider stuff like that before you make a theory. And overall, I'm really not impressed. I'm partially impressed of how a lot of your stuff was delivered, but there's a bunch of other what ifs that I think you could have done better. Personally, I think all what I saw on the screen was due to time. He just wanted to be one of the first ones to get it out there. So you go back and you do a couple more Bendy theories, and use the thoughts and everything that I handed you, and oh man, you'll be fine. But my main pet peeve is that thing at the very beginning, which I'll just
chalk up another victory on the game theory win sheet with the release.
Another victory on the game theory sheet, okay?
Of Bendy's last chapter, all my theories were put to the test, and it looks like we were overall pretty darn right. At least,
pretty much overall, pretty darn right. Alright, so you mentioned that Joey could be Bendy early on here. You give reasoning as symbolism. Yeah, but kind of contradicted what you stated, that Joey Drew was going to be revealed as Bendy, and that's what I think you're referring to when you said you're pretty much right. Other than that, this is probably the best theory besides just the Disney Bendy theory that you actually have done so far. The rest of them just plain suck in my opinion. And I'll do a look on how Bendy will end, and I will definitely tell you why everything was like that. As I mentioned, my problem is
for the things that Meatly wasn't,
and stuff like that. Overall, it was a pretty good theory. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm definitely gonna put it on watch later, so I can look at it later and go ahead and analyze it and do all of that. But yeah, just saying. Long story short, if I had to give it a rating, I'd say maybe 2.5, which is half of 5. So you really didn't impress me that much. If anything, if I'm gonna be really sympathetic with you, I'm gonna say maybe a 3, because it's not really surprising. It's not really anything. I could have thrown 5 more stuff at you, and there's other theories I can make that can counteract yours, and the points I can bring up which are stronger than what you wrote or what you put in there that I can counteract with. But other than that, not bad. It's not as bad as your other theories, except for Bendy, that's Disney, and the culture shock. I'm not touching that. That's not what I'm counting here. But except for Disney, this was actually your only good Bendy theory that was there. The other two just plain sucked. And just watch my analysis on the Bendy Fools Us one to get my full thoughts on it. Other than that, part 2E, you impressed me a little bit, because I didn't really find anything else like that, but I will definitely play this again before I do an analysis of it, and I will look at it, and yeah, other than that, I hope to see you some other time. Have a nice day.